Alrighty. Hello, Dr. Downing. I hope you're doing wonderful today. I am going to be presenting my understanding assessment quality, reliability, validity, bias, and instructional impact from the key concepts from Prothom chapters 5 through 8. And my name is Imani Spalding. I am a senior elementary education major at North Carolina Central University. Let's go. What is reliability? Reliability is consistency of an assessment. If an assessment is reliable, students would earn similar scores if conditions remain the same. Reliability matters because inconsistent scores lead to inaccurate grading and unfair decisions. Another example for reliability would be being able to be trusted to do what is expected or has been promised. Types of reliability. Test, retest, reliability. Consistency over time. Students perform similarly each time. Alternate form reliability. Two versions of the same test produce similar scores. Internal consistency. Items on the same test measure the same skills. All reading comprehension items actually assess comprehension. What reduces reliability? Ambiguous items such as questions that can be interpreted multiple ways, poorly written directions such as students misunderstanding what to do, environmental factors such as noise, lighting, or other interruptions that can't be controlled, and scoring inconsistencies such as rubrics using being used differently across students or by different scorers. How teachers improve reliability. Write clear, unambiguous questions, use well-defined rubrics with specific criteria, keep test conditions consistent for all students, provide practice items to reduce confusion, and remove items that produce unexpected score patterns. By doing these things, teachers can ultimately improve the reliability of their students and the functioning of their classroom. Why reliability matters for student learning. Ensures grades reflect actual understanding, not chance or confusion. Adds trustworthiness to teachers' decisions. Supports fairness, especially across diverse learners. And helps teachers identify which instructional strategies are effective and which ones are not. Validity of classroom assessments. Understanding validity. Validity is how accurately an assessment measures what is intended to measure. An assessment can be reliable but not valid. For example, a consistently wrong measure. Validity affects decisions about students' achievement, growth, and placement. Types of validity evidence. Content validity. Does the assessment represent the curriculum? For example, a math test shouldn't include reading-heavy questions. That confuses ELL students. Does the test measure the skill trait it claims to measure? Construct validity. For example, a writing assessment should grade writing, not handwriting neatness. Criterion validity. Does test performance correlate with other trustworthy measures, such as state exam scores? Threats to validity. Assessment bias such as cultural, linguistic, or socioeconomic. Poor alignment with standards or learning targets. Vague learning objectives that doesn't match test items. Overly difficult vocabulary that distracts from actual skills being tested. Teaching to the test, limiting instruction. Increasing validity in the classroom as opposed to decreasing. Wait, let's hold on one moment. My slide left. Let's pause. One moment. Go back to the slide that we were on. This is just a pause. This is just a pause. Align assessments. Hey, let's start again. Align assessment items directly with specific learning standards. Use a table of specifications to balance content. Have another teacher review items for clarity and fairness. Remove items unrelated to objectives such as trick questions and consider accommodations for diverse learners. Not all students will learn the same. Rarely any of them will learn identically. You definitely have to approach them with different methods of learning, different ways of teaching, different ways of approaching it, like it's all breaks down to each student as a different individual, and they will learn and process and receive things and put them back out into the earth differently. And you need to make sure that you are prepared to nurture that as they grow as learners. But you cannot try to force them to learn a way that they're not able to learn. You have to meet them where they're at and grow with them. Why validity is teachers' ethical obligation. Low validity assessments misrepresent students' abilities, leads to incorrect grades, misplaced interventions, and decreased motivation. High validity assessments support equity and help teachers accurately adjust instruction. What is assessment bias? Bias occurs when a test unfairly benefits or harms certain groups. Bias is unintentional most of the time, but it is impacted seriously. Bias leads to invalid assessment and inequitable outcomes. Forms of bias in assessments. Offensive content like stereotypes, insensitive examples, or harmful language can be seen. Cultural bias, such as references that assume shared experiences like skiing vacations or certain holidays. Language complexities, such as vocabulary unrelated to learning targets that disadvantage English learners. Or format bias, item structures difficult for students with disabilities or reading challenges. Identifying and eliminating bias. Use bias review panels or teacher collaborators. Replace culture-specific scenarios with universal relatable context. Check images and name for stereotypes. Ensure accessibility, readability levels, fonts, and spacing. Apply universal design for learning, UDL principles. Teachers' responsibility in preventing bias. Teachers must understand the background of their students. Designing fair assessments means honoring diversity. Bias-free tests protect students academically and emotionally. Creating equal opportunities begin with fair measurement. Why assessment should inform instruction. Assessments are more than scores. They're instructional tools, helping teachers track progress, identify misunderstanding, and planning next steps. Classroom assessments are most powerful when used formatively. Classroom assessments are very important for teachers so they can kind of give out a need-based assessment on what their students need help with more and what they have already mastered. When teachers give out assessments, even though it can be annoying on the student end, on the teacher's end, it's very helpful to collect data on what the students are actually learning so they can alter their lesson plans and alter maybe the way they teach, so they can get the best result and the students can get the most retention of the context at hand. Formative versus summative assessments. Formative, occurring during learning, providing real-time feedback, examples, exit ticket, quizzes, questioning strategies, or summative, occur at the end of learning, measures mastery, examples, unit test, final projects. Both types guide instructional decisions when used intentionally. I think I'm more preferable for formative learning and formative assessments, but both are definitely, I agree, instructional designs when used intentionally. Using assessment data to improve teaching. Analyze patterns of student error to adjust instruction, reteach concepts using alternative strategies, group students based on instructional needs, provide targeted support, scaffolded tasks, guided practice, and use data to refine lesson plans for clarity and effectiveness. Student involvement in the assessment process. Students monitor their progress with checklists or goal trackers. Peer reviews help students evaluate quality work. Self-assessment promotes reflection and metacognition. When students understand the criteria, they become more motivated and confident. Benefits of assessment-driven instruction. Supports personalized learning. Increases student engagement and ownership. Improves overall learning outcomes. Turns the classroom into a responsive learning environment, not a guessing game. Summary of key concepts. Reliability. Assessment must provide consistent results. Validity. Assessment must accurately measure intended skills. Bias. Must be identified and eliminated to ensure fairness. Assessment-driven instruction. Assessment guide meaningful teaching. Some of my final thoughts would be: high-quality assessments create equitable opportunities for all students. Teachers must be reflective and intentional in designing assessments. And when assessments are reliable, valid, and unbiased, students can truly thrive. Some of my references would be Prof. M.W. James Classroom Assessment, What Teachers Need to Know, and the course materials and lecture notes that we have gone over in class. I really enjoyed doing this presentation and doing this research, going back into the course notes and looking over things we have discussed. Thank you so much, Dr. Downing, for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.